So this is sap green and burnt sienna. I'm just using a flat or bright, and with the corner of my brush, you can use any brush. With the corner of my brush, I'm just gonna.
Why the corner?
Because this is flat. This is too flat. It's not gonna give you texture enough.
Okay.
You could do it, but you could do the flat. But in these things, I like to use when I see texture like that, like trees, or when I want to do that, I like to use the corner of my brush. It's easier, and it gives you a texture. It doesn't have, because with this, like this, you could, but it's flat. There's kind of flat areas. Texture is very important with trees and plants. Can you see one? Yeah.
This is for the dark part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, dark part, yes. I'm just going to add a bit of, I'm putting a bit of water with my brush on my color here. And I'm just going to add a bit, oops, a very soft green in here.
What color though? The sap
That's the
green?
same colors I've been using for the tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to, we're going to change the color later on, but we'll put some blue in there. This is like a glaze right now, same green.
Yeah.
This is just a foundation for for the colors that we're going to put. But it's what I'm doing right now is just like a glaze. So it's sap green, burnt sienna, and it's a glaze, so it's not too thick. Okay.
This is all this.
Whenever I do reflection in water, I try to use a glaze technique. So not my paint is not thick. What I do is I do layers. I put layers of uh, colors instead of one heavy one, a heavy paint. So it always looks much nicer when it's glazed on. When your paint is not heavy, if you're doing a reflection in water.
Don't have yellow.
So I'm going to take the same colors, sap green, and I'm going to take yellow ochre,
Got two of them, but I-
sap green, and a bit of
yeah.
the burnt sienna. And let's start highlighting a bit. Now, I know the trees in that reference have a certain style. I am not going to do the same. Or just highlight those trees a bit in the back. Okay. So what I would like to do now is change the color a bit of these trees, just a bit, after I finish my. I'm going to take sap green, just sap green, and put some yellow ochre in it. No burnt sienna. Yeah, that's good. Gives me a different green now.
Yellow ochre and green layer.
Yeah, just sap green.
Sap green.
Yeah. Now I lost some of the darks in between, which, you know, this dark separates the trees a bit. So I'm going to put them back again using sap green and burnt sienna. Sometimes when you start highlighting, you lose some of the darks, which you know, usually darks give you depth. And it separates the trees a bit, so it doesn't look like it's one big tree or bush. So yeah, that's good. Okay. Good.
Okay.
So I'm just going to use the sap green left over I have here and a bit of this burnt sienna, but it's like what I'm doing right now. It's a wide brush. I'm using a wide brush, wider, because we're getting closer. And I'm just gonna kind of put a layer, a thin layer of green over here. It's like a glaze. And this is done. Now let's do a reflection. And another reflection this way, down. I'm just leaving a thin layer here in between, just for me to know where the reflection starts. And a tiny bit of water now. Yeah, that's good. This is where the water is. This is where the water is right now. So I'm just going to use a bit of, just a tiny bit lighter color in here. That's good. Okay. What a mess.
Yeah, that's okay.
So now to highlight this part, what I'm going to use, I'm using the yellow ochre, and I'm putting a bit of cadmium yellow light in it with green, with the olive green in here. I have a round brush and I'm just going across. And I'm going to take some green now with yellow ochre. I'm sorry, green with cadmium yellow light. Right there, adding some cadmium yellow light to my olive green.
Until the stick is, right?
Pardon? I'm just doing these in here. Yeah, those ones in the front. I'm doing this. I'm going to be doing this part now. This part.
Yeah.
yellow ochre and cad light, right?
Yeah.
Gonna borrow a bit of your
You may.
cadmium
You
yellow
want some
light.
more? And you put it up here.
Okay.
right?
I'm going to switch my brush and go back to sap green and burnt sienna a bit, because what happened is I lost the darks in here when I was highlighting. So I'm just going to put them back. And this part is far, so we don't really need to, we really don't need to have it detailed.
I thought she went up here, but she didn't, did she?
Hmm?
I thought she did this part up here. But that's not. Just leave that out.
All right, so now I have a good kind of, I got back the depth in here, the dark part where the grass is right here. And I'm going to go back, and I'm using now sap green and cadmium yellow light. I'm just going to highlight this part, and I'm using round brush because I want the edge here where it meets, where the highlight meets the darks to look, I don't want it to look flat. Let's add a bit of, a touch of the yellow ochre as well. So my highlight here where the grass is not just one color. It has a bit of yellow ochre as well. Now this part is, this part right here is dry, so I can go back and add a touch of touch-ups here and there, whatever I need to do, because you know acrylic dries darker. And take more of the yellow ochre as well and put it here. And you can see here with this,
Hmm?
It looks white.
Mm-hmm.
what's looking white? No, I'm sorry. This is looking white because of the lighting in here.
Ah,
It's not. There's no white in here at all. It's just,
Okay.
yeah, it's just when I highlight, what I'm putting right now is yellow ochre only. Just use yellow ochre. And if your yellow ochre is too dark,
Yes.
add cadmium yellow light in it.
Oops. Oops. That's wrong.
I'm just using right now is I picked up a small brush And I'm using cadmium yellow light mixed with a bit of green. And I'm going to come here and just give it a bit of texture, because this back here is okay. It doesn't need too much texture in there. But this one here, we start to see a bit of texture in there, here. Just a tiny bit, not much, because that's still far away. Now, I'm going to switch to the medium brush, round brush, and I'm going to take
It's okay.
some of the, I'm using sap green. I'm going to put a bit of burnt sienna in it and come here. Now, I'm just going to add a bit of yellow in here. I'm just adjusting the highlights and the darks.